Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone. First tonight, the state government has released its long-awaited Patient Transfer Assistance Scheme review and has committed to implementing all recommendations. $1 million has been budgeted, but some say it's action taken too late.
A scheme helping Tasmanians who need to travel for their healthcare.
We are responding to support people with their accommodation needs, their travel needs as well, and reducing the burden and indeed any barrier that one would have to access critical and important health services.
The Patient Travel Assistance Scheme review resulting in 35 recommendations. Investing more into concession card holders by removing the co-payment, just one example. Digitalising the application form and increasing the subsidies to 15% among others.
Also, I recognise the fact that our islands, Flinders Island and King Island as well, presents that additional barrier. We've also boosted support for islanders to again ensure it's more accessible, accessing health services not only in Tasmania but also on mainland Australia if required.
The Premier says all recommendations will be in place this financial year, committing $1 million to their implementation. But Labor claims the government has been sitting on the report for months.
The government's been slow to release the recommendations of the report. It's allocated funding. Let's see if that's enough. Time will tell if that's enough. And let's see if they do in fact implement each of these 35 recommendations in a timely manner.
Yesterday, all hospitals increased to level 3 of their escalation plan, including the THS Northwest. More than 1,700 cases overnight and sadly another death. 13 people in hospital specifically for COVID and 116 health staff in the Northwest currently furloughed due to the virus.
On a day-to-day basis, that might look like in hospitals restructuring where our beds are located, reviewing our non-emergency services such as our elective procedures, and we don't take any of those decisions lightly.
They say the decision will be reviewed every day. Premier Jeremy Rockliff says there has been no public health advice to reinstate mask mandates and plan to raise a number of issues with the Prime Minister at National Cabinet on Monday. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
A 31-year-old Clarendon Vale man has died after losing control of his motorbike in southern Tasmania yesterday afternoon. Emergency services were called to the crash at the intersection of Dampier and Shooton Streets in Warrane just before 5. The rider was taken to hospital in a serious condition but was unable to be saved.
Sadly, it's the loss of another Tasmanian life on our roads. It's tragic for this man's family, tragic for his community. No deaths on our roads is acceptable.
So urging anyone in the area with dash cam footage to come forward. A coroner has found an experienced sailor died despite wearing a working life jacket. Christopher John Brian Baker and his wife were attempting to secure their yacht in high winds on the Tamar River, Devitt, on June 9 last year. After Mrs Baker boarded the yacht, the dinghy they were using flipped and swept Mr Baker downstream. Coroner Olivia McTaggart said it was unwise to enter the water, and while the life jacket he was wearing was approved and inflated, it did not have a crotch strap, meaning it had risen to a position above his head, increasing his risk of drowning. Mr Baker was 66 years old. A Ferment Tasmania hub at Legana is expected to move to the next stage, with the West Tamar Council set to approve the $8 million project. The plan, designed by Tasmanian business Cumulus Studio, includes a one-storey building featuring several labs, offices and a warehouse facility. There are dedicated spaces for produce, cool rooms, a retail area and also for allergens. The hub concept assists local small businesses develop fermentation techniques. The council will make a decision on Tuesday. The Huon Valley is coming alive tonight for the 9th instalment of the Midwinter Festival. Our reporter Grace Evans is live among the action. Good evening to you, Grace. The event is back to full capacity and thriving.
Kim, it certainly is. More than 1,000 people have flocked through the gates here at Willie Smith's, returning to pre-COVID capacity, and everyone is very excited. The weekend is a popular one on Tasmania's social calendar, celebrating the region's rich apple picking history. Local musicians, producers and attractions will be on offer across the next 3 days. It'll be a welcome boost for the events sector here. Of course, many are embracing the pagan theme, turning out in their best costumes and braving the chilly conditions here. We spoke to some excited revellers when they headed in a little earlier.
Well, it's cold at home, and we were in Melbourne and I saw this advertised somewhere and I thought, I feel like being a pagan.
And this is actually a red raven Morris tatters that I'm wearing. They're based in Melbourne and have been a big part of this festival for a number of years.
The welcome ceremony will get underway in just over an hour, followed closely by the popular Burning Man attraction. And Kim, I'm told there's only a limited number of tickets left, so organisers are urging everyone to get in quick.
A group of local volunteers has been inundated with support from Tasmanian businesses working to protect our community's most vulnerable. Hundreds of COVID Stay Safe packs have been delivered around the state, with organisers set to roll out the next phase of the initiative within days.
Community coming together during tough times. A group of 30 Tasmanian volunteers have gone above and beyond in the fight against COVID.
We've sent out 328 packs to elderly Tasmanians. That's a full Stay Safe pack, and it's been really well received.
The group has worked tirelessly to protect those most vulnerable to the virus, packaging and delivering COVID-safe essentials all over the state.
It's such a good cause, and these people need these things. You know, even just us calling on them. A lot of them are lonely and don't get to see anybody. And there we are at the door, and it makes it all worthwhile.
Brian has delivered 150 packs, travelling from Launceston to the northern districts. The response from the community, well received.
All of them are very surprised because family members arranged for the delivery. Some cry, but all are very appreciative of the generosity of the Tasmanian public.
The community group is now moving on to the next phase of support, assembling mask packs.
In the last 2 days, we've had 120 requests come through, and given that we'll be packing 250 next week, we're still happy to receive requests.
Tasmanian businesses are also jumping on board. Hayes Healthcare donating 15,000 surgical masks.
They limit the spread of the germs. They're not a hard thing to do, and it's the least we can do to stop the spread of COVID at the moment.
The state government is continuing to urge Tasmanians to follow COVID-safe behaviours, like masking up if you can't socially distance. The packs are timely as a third COVID wave grips the state. Anyone looking to donate can visit the Tasmania COVID Awareness and Community Support Facebook group. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians are being asked to buy local drinks over the next 3 months and help support the work of charities in our community. Guide Dogs Tasmania is one of 3 groups to benefit from the initiative, helping provide an extra source of funding for their work.
Giving a set of eyes to those who need it. These dogs play a vital role in helping vision-impaired people go about their daily lives. But the time and $50,000 bill it takes to knock off the rough edges leaves many pausing for thought.
The first 18 months the puppies are just learning the basics, and during their formal training it takes about 4 to 6 months.
A local business is looking to take the lead. Guide Dogs Tasmania is one of 3 selected to be part of 9/11 Bottle Shops, a good drop fundraiser.
Some of the larger charities are able to access national programs, and this is very much a local initiative. So it's a local business supporting those local charities.
Over the next 3 months, every time a customer purchases a Tasmanian product, they will get a token which they use to vote for one of 3 charities. The Guide Dog's set to secure a share of $5,000.
It might cover a cost of a puppy to get one of the puppies to us, or it can cover a puppy play pack or all sorts of different things.
The charity says with demand continuing to grow, the need to get pups trained up and into the community remains their greatest challenge.
People can see our dogs out in the community helping people. It's giving them better quality of life.
We get to support a lot of our local producers of spirits, beer and wine.
Homely Retreats and the Clifford Craig Foundation have also been selected. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The Tasmanian Netball Club has received a hefty cash injection from a major supermarket sports grants program. The initiative encourages healthy eating habits to ensure young players feel their best and play their best.
Throwing their name into the ring for a significant funding boost, the Kingborough Netball Association never imagined they'd score a winning goal.
It's just a really nice buzz for everybody that works hard and put a lot of time and effort into the club.
The Tasmanian club, one of 5 across the country to receive a $10,000 grant.
At least there's sort of a couple of decades since, any significant sort of renovations have been done.
The canteen is looking very tired. We do have a few other issues with some cracks in our courts and things like that.
The proceeds stem from Woolworths Pick Fresh, Play Fresh program, promoting healthy eating habits in children through sport.
A lot of the local community around here does come out to the local sport on the weekend, and we see a lot of children come in to the supermarket on the weekend, so it's great to be able to help.
Now through this grant, Woolworths will work closely with Kingborough to ensure that canteen's stocked with all the right kinds of foods and keep all the kids' energy up.
Woolworths has continuously shown its support for grassroots netball, becoming a naming rights partner of Australia's Net Set Go program earlier this year.
Sport for children gives them physical activity, healthy minds, healthy bodies. It encourages working together as a team, meeting new friends from all different schools.
We usually get to play a game after, and there's shooting and running.
Another 10 clubs also received $5,000 sums. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
They lost a teammate and friend to suicide last year. Now the Devonport Football Club is banding together to raise funds for mental health support. The senior women's side will don a unique Beyond Blue Guernsey to honour Caitlin Lone. It's part of their community round where the club supports local charities.
We're doing something to raise awareness of mental health and support that good cause and try and spread the word about how important it is to look out for each other.
Other Magpie sides will wear Guernseys in support of children with serious illness and breast cancer awareness.
And Northern Derby is the headline fixture of the TSL's round 16 schedule. The Blues will look to make it 3 from 3 this season against their crosstown rivals, the Bombers, when they host them at Windsor Park tomorrow.
They're obviously just outside the 4 at the moment, and that's probably unfamiliar territory for them. And we know they're definitely good enough to be in the top 4, and we're expecting their best this week.
North Launceston are back on the winners list after besting North Hobart and say forward pressure will be key to besting the Blues.
We've probably showed, particularly last time out here at UTAS, we were able to hang with them for our half with our best football. And that is the challenge. If we can play 4 quarters against them, we know that we'll push them right to the end.
The match kicks off at 2 p.m. In the SFL, Brighton and Dodgers Ferry are preparing for a season-defining clash this weekend. The 4th-placed Sharks host the 5th-placed Robins at Dodgers Ferry, with Sorrel nipping at their heels. Both teams say a win is vital for their September hopes.
A pretty important game for both sides, probably a finals-type intensity, and Dodgers and Brighton have had a few thrillers in recent times, so it should be a cracker.
I think it's going to be a fairly intense game straight off the bat, but I think both teams have got a lot to play for this week, so I think it'll be a good game.
First bounce is at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Both Kingborough and Glenorchy are refusing to give up on their NPL Tasmania title hopes. The Lions travel to KG5 to face the Knights. Devonport are currently 3 games clear at the top, and while both sides agree time is running out, they're not throwing in the towel just yet.
It's 11 points behind. Anything can happen. There is 9 games, and it's still open. That's how we see the competition.
We just look to the positive side and look to each week we've got to get 3 points and leave whatever's going to happen with Devonport in their hands.
And kick-off is also at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's all happening then. In the Women's Super League, Taroona and Kingborough are looking to finish off the season strongly. Both have a chance to jump out of the bottom three, facing each other tomorrow. It's their first meeting this season, with the match being treated as a mini-final by both teams.
Previously, the contests between us have been good and really intense, so yeah, definitely going to treat it like a final in a way.
We'll have to play our good game, but we're certainly looking to, I'll be honest, we're looking to up our goal difference.
That match gets underway at 2:30. The nation's best young drivers will be put through their gears here in Tasmania this summer. Racing legend Marcus Ambrose and the Gary Rogers Motorsport team will hold a second edition of the GRM Combine in the state next January. Up-and-comers will sample top-level machinery such as Trans Ams, TCRs and S5000s at Simmons Plains and Baskerville. And with the Tour de France underway, tonight's Friday Flashback revisits when cycling royalty Chris Froome came to Richie Porte's home in Tasmania. Despite being the sport's biggest name at the time, he managed to fly under the radar.
Away from the gaze of cycling mad Europe, the sports superstar Chris Froome had a rare moment to be truly anonymous.
Pretty classic Tasmanian for the best bike rider in the world to walk off the plane into Launceston, and sure enough, no one recognised him.
A handful eventually put two and two together, but it wasn't until local media zoomed in on the champion cyclist that Tasmanians grasped the enormity of the visit.
We've got Chris Froome in our race, so I think that's fantastic.
The pair's preparation for 2015's Grand Tours was all captured for locally made production. The climb starts here, with Port introducing the Englishman to the popular yet gruelling Scottsdale Loop.
I mean, that's a proper climb by anyone's standards.
After a game of archery and a spot of fishing came a wet December day racing in Launceston's Stan Shaker Classic. It all built up to the big one, the first Grand Tour on the calendar, the Giro d'Italia, 5 months later.
Ports is on the wheel of Contador.
The start went to script, but Port's grimacing grin,
Richie is smiling,
didn't last. He bled time from a mass crash on stage 13, hurting his hip and knee, and making matters worse,
Here they are now, supporting Richie Ports.
He was penalised for borrowing a wheel from another rider when his bike fell apart, a move against race rules. Eventually, his Team Sky raised the white flag.
We've got Richie Port here on screen right now, who's seeming to be dropped.
Despite the anticlimax, one of Froome's bold predictions back in Tasmania nearly came true years down the track. Asked if Richie could one day win a Grand Tour.
He's got the ability to do it. I definitely think he's got the potential to go all the way himself.
A dream Port almost realised in 2020 when he finished on the podium in the grandest race of them all, the Tour de France, a crowning achievement to his career. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
And what a moment for Tasmanian sport that was. Kim?
Two great athletes. Thanks very much, Josh.
Good evening. Hobart's 11 degrees, nearly a degree below average today. Launceston reached 14, as did Burnie. Devonport 13 degrees. Temperatures range from Lyaweenie's -1 to Friendly Beaches and St Helens's 15. Smithton and the Islands 14. Low Head and Strawn 13 today. Grove and Bushy Park reached 11. Lyaweenie a high of 7. Low-level cloud over most of the state as a separate blanket of cloud approached from the northwest as well. You can see it there through Bass Strait. The mainland under sunny skies mostly. Some cloud over a front near South Australia and Western Victoria, some more clipping WA. Tomorrow the low and cold front begin to decay as they move eastwards, heading towards us by the way. The high pressure ridge again extending across most of the North Island. We'll have northwesterlies tomorrow blowing up a bit, 25 to 35 knots over most waters and to 40 knots over the north and west in the evening. Winds to 30 knots over the southwest lakes. So we do have a warning or two, a gale warning in place from southeast Cape to the north of Flinders Island, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters and the southwest lakes. The weekend shapes up like this. A cloudy day for Hobart, 13 degrees, 11 the top for Medina with a shower or two, 1 overnight for Oatlands, a shower tomorrow, and 10 the high. 12 for Launceston with showers, Devonport the same, 5 degrees for Lyaweenie, showers and -1 overnight. Showers for Burnie, 12 for Strawn with those winds picking up over Marrawar as well, 13 the maximum. St Helens showers increasing, 13 the top, 13 for Swansea, Orford a top of 12. On Sunday, a showery, windy day with snow to 500 metres, a good day for a sleep in. More snow down to 500 metres on Monday and a couple of showers over the west and south and an early one over King Island. Temperatures struggling too. And on Tuesday, fine, partly cloudy and cold again. A shower or two in Perth, showers increasing over Adelaide, a windy day forecast for Melbourne, cold and cloudy in Canberra, 16 in Sydney, fine and sunny and 21 in Brisbane. Clear in Hobart, 7 at the moment, 8 in Launceston, cloudy in Devonport and currently 9 degrees. I know Pete Miller's not feeling well, Kim. I know you're rushing home to look after him. Hope he gets better.
Oh, so sincere, Murph. I've got the chicken and noodle soup ready. That's all your news for now. Have a great weekend. Good night.